Hey, welcome back to the podcast. On today's episode, extreme negative thinking. An amazing example of extreme negative thinking and why you don't want to go there.
No, you don't.
You do not want to go there.
We got Pastor Mike on the mic.
We got Dr. Lance Parker.
And we are just these guys, you know. Headphones on. Sound check 1, 2. How you doing, Mike?
You know what? I'm doing better than I deserve.
Boom.
And this subject right here, that would be maybe not the primary reason that I'm thankful for our relationship, but I'd say second or third, definitely. Because you have helped me not to be an example of what we're going to talk about today. I think.
And if you're wondering why we're laughing, stick around because you will see exactly why we're laughing.
I think that's true, is it not? I was headed there.
I've had this in my hot little hand. I've had it for about 3 years.
3
years.
3 years
waiting
for a podcast.
I had it before the podcast. This is a classic example of where negative thinking can go clinical and drive somebody into a psychologist's office.
Wow. Okay.
And this is an actual note I took during a session. I do have permission from the client, although they will not be identified here. But once we went through this with the client,
Yep.
And I showed it to the client, I kind of half tongue-in-cheek said, I'm going to use this as an example
Yeah.
in my seminars or something. And they said, please do.
Good for them.
But I still didn't do it for a couple of years. And then about a year ago, I ran into them again. And they asked, they said, I've been listening to your podcast and your videos that you put online, and I haven't seen that. Are you not going to do it? So I'm like, okay, well, I will find the time. I will work it in. And so
I was doing all that negative thinking for nothing. Come on.
And there's another kind of dovetail that goes with this, because somebody else who had some issues with negative thinking ran into an employment situation that relates to negative thinking that blew their mind. So negative thinking today.
Okay.
Why not to do it? Now, for a quick recap, you said this earlier. Over the course of this last year and a half, your thinking has gone dramatically from a lot of negative thinking to very minimal negative thinking now. And when you do it, you tend to catch it.
Yeah. It's awareness. It's all about thinking about what you're thinking about and just being aware.
And I will see you, whether it's on stage at church or in here, I'll see you trip one of the negative landmines.
Yep.
And your eyes will light up and you'll stop.
Yeah.
And you'll be making a decision. Do I just keep rolling or do I go back and correct that?
Yeah.
Can I put you on the spot?
Yeah.
For the audience's benefit, how do you know when you're thinking negative? What is the clue that says, oh, that was negative? Give you a hint. Starts with the letter N.
N?
We are a work in progress.
I notice.
Not.
Okay.
Not.
All right.
Not. The challenge when it comes to negative thinking, and I cringe, and I'm in court right now testifying in a case, and there is some therapists who have come into court who just prove my point. But they've been working with somebody on something for a year and a half, and the main topic, negative thinking. It's like, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. The word not. If you, the computer program your brain operates in, English language.
Yep.
So if you're saying the words, you're thinking the words. If you're thinking the words, you're going to say the words. So how do you know what you're thinking? You listen to the words you speak or think. And if you hear not, or any of its cousins, don't, want, can't, didn't, shouldn't, nothing,
Yeah.
not a thing, do not, cannot. If you're hearing those words, you are thinking negatively. Negative thinking will lead to a negative experience, which will then result in a negative behavior that typically feeds back in and supports the negative thinking. I can't do it. I now experience failure. I give a half-baked effort, and then I prove I can't do it. And so negative thinking leads to a negative experience, leads to a negative behavior to support the negative thinking, and we get stuck in that loop. We become failures, losers. We're wanting to shift to positive thinking. I can do it. I will do it. I did get this experience, instead of, well, they didn't have popcorn. Well, they did have Pepsi, and it was a nice air-conditioned movie, and it was a chance to get out of the house. What did you get versus what you did not get?
Yeah.
So negative thinking, we want to identify it because it brings a negative experience and leads to failure. We want to identify the negative thinking so we can immediately shift to positive thinking. And the way we identify it is listening for that word not. Now, some clinicians may want to delve into, so tell me about your childhood so we can figure out why you're so negative. And a year later, we may have an answer, but we're still processing things and thinking negatively. So I tend to jump to the end and say, let's change the thinking.
Sure.
So I had a client come in, and we already had this conversation a number of times. So I asked them one simple question. This was their answer. And I felt compelled to write it down so I could feed it back to them after we had just been through, like 6-7 weeks of this cognitive restructuring. So I will do my best to role play a client and see if you can identify any negative thinking as we go along. In fact, here's what I'm going to have you do.
I don't know if I can handle this.
Which one of them buttons is a...
Which one? Which one do you want?
I don't know. I don't know what they do.
What? Well, I've got crickets. I got cheers. We about those. We got trombone.
There.
Which one did you hit?
The yellow one.
Buzzer, yeah.
Anytime you think you hear negative thinking, hit the button. It's going to be like a game show.
Got it. No whammy, no whammy.
Let's turn that down just a little bit so it's more background than foreground. Try it one more time. There we go. So I asked, how have you been? Their answer, well, I've not been stressed. I did not take a sleep aid, so I did not sleep well. I have not read a book for a while. I don't know why. I have not thought about it. I don't need to escape my reality anymore, so I don't know why. I don't know what I used to enjoy. I guess I just am doing things I want to do. I don't know. Like, I saw my family, but I did not get to see my uncle. He was not there because he passed away about a month ago. We didn't do a service. He was not religious. He did not plan for his funeral. We did not know what to do, so we had a party because we thought he would not mind.
Are you serious?
All right, yes, dead serious. That was their answer to, how you doing?
Okay.
Negative, 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 negative.
Yeah.
And as they're speaking, you can see their emotions, their mood just cratering to the end. And at the end, they don't know what they're thinking or what they're talking about.
Or why they feel the way they feel.
What's wrong with me, Doc? Why do I feel the way I feel? I don't understand. And it's like, yes, This is what's wrong. This is negative thinking.
Yeah.
Now, when you first read the book and we first started talking about it last year, you were much, much better than this. There was still quite a bit of negative thought processes.
Sure.
But this was not you. You were much more advanced than this. But think about all the hard work you had to do to get to where you're at now. And so at the beginning of all of this, I hope it was tongue in cheek. Don't think negative.
Right.
Is negative thinking.
Yeah.
Why you're not going to do it. And so it is a huge challenge. And it was an extremely huge challenge for this client to make that shift when that is 100% how they think 24/7. That was just one answer to one question. It came spewing out in 5 minutes. That is their mentality. And so each one of those negative sentences, each one of those negative thoughts hits you with a negative emotional experience. And you just start to get weighed down. One after the other after the other.
And I know some people that are certainly close to that, but I'm not a clinician. And so I just let them waller in it. No, it's kind of one of those things where you kind of throw your hands up and go, I'm not sure what I can do for you.
I had somebody the other day who, caught the fire, figured this stuff out, has found freedom in changing how they think, and met with them a week or two ago, and they opined, I don't envy your job. I said, why is that? They said, because I was talking to somebody who was very negative, and I began to explain to them the concept, and I couldn't explain it that well. And at the end, I think it all got worse.
Sure. It can go that way. I've tried. This is with a relative. And if it's not an official, I'm here to help. Their perspective is you're not here to help.
Don't tell me what to do. Don't criticize me.
You don't know what I'm experiencing.
You don't understand.
Right. Yeah. So I'm thankful that I've got this opportunity in an official setting to work on it. Yeah.
I had a guy the other day, and he listened to this podcast routinely, so he will hear this and he will smile because he told me last week, he goes, yeah, when I first met you, I thought to myself, what's this long-haired hippie gonna do to help me? Thinking. And now he wants to, he's the one. About the same time you came to me and said, let's do some merchandise.
Yeah.
He said, do you have a t-shirt? I want a t-shirt. And on the front it says, I see Dr. Parker. And on the back it says, so should you.
Yeah. That's a good one. Well, here in about a week, I would guess, we should have some merch. So whoever you are, there's a t-shirt coming. It's gonna be good. It's good stuff.
Right. A lot of things happening. We got the book now out in Audiobook, and it's got the new book cover, and we've got another book in the works at the publisher being reviewed and edited, and the podcast, we're approaching 70 episodes. We're growing listeners in Australia, New Zealand, Canada.
Yeah.
We're going worldwide, not just nationwide.
Yeah.
It's easy talk.
It's amazing how many we picked up. Nationwide. How many subscribers we picked up just in the last couple of months.
Oh, yeah. The YouTube channel's taken off. And then the merch store has 99% completed. We got a couple more tweaks to do, and it'll be ready to go online, and we will have merchandise available for order anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. Thank you, Gino. Good work on that, buddy.
Gino, Wichita Screen Printing.
Mm-hmm.
A little shout out if you need some T-shirts for your softball or your church, or if you actually want to develop your own online store, see Gino down at Wichita Screen Printing.
Mm-hmm. It's good. So, Extreme, how often do you run into this?
This is
job security. Is this what you're telling us?
Yeah. When Paul said, "Do not be conformed to the ways of this world," and different translations don't think like this world.
Yep.
This is worldly thinking. Everybody thinks this way. You talk to anybody, and if you just kind of make yourself aware of, not, don't, and can't.
Sure.
And you will hear those words constantly throughout the day. I can't do that because I don't want to, and I didn't want to do this, and I didn't want to do that, so I didn't know what to do, so I didn't want to upset them, so not knowing what to do, I went over there and did this, but I don't know how it turned out. I don't know if it worked out real well. I mean, it's just a constant negativity, negative, giving away freedom, creating negative experiences. It is forever. I'm spitting in the wind with the world. This is how everybody thinks, and the people who think differently, we look at them as weirdos.
Sure.
Hey, it's a beautiful day. What the hell's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who expresses anything positive or doesn't get upset over something, people look at them like they're oddballs.
Yeah. I got a very good buddy of mine who every time he's asked every day, how you doing? He says, best day of my life. And it's rare that someone just lets that go. Oh yeah, why is that? They want to know what? Even if it's him staying positive,
Sure.
even if it's him taking captive that question and the thought that he's going to share, or the positivity that he's going to want to continue to be in, or maybe but he's working on it. Best day of my life. People don't understand. They're cynical.
Well, what they don't understand is today's the only day.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday's gone.
Yeah.
Whether you won the lottery yesterday or didn't, what does that matter today?
Yep.
Today is the only day you got.
Yep. And why worry about tomorrow when tomorrow has enough trouble of its own?
This is the day. This is the only thing you have control over. So,
Yep.
If you're given 8 hours to spend, how you going to spend it? If you're given $800 to spend and it goes away at midnight, how you going to spend it? This is the only time you have. So, yeah, today's the best day of my life because it's the only day.
Yep. We only have these seconds, these minutes, and they're gone for good.
Now, the infection of negative thinking.
Yep.
And you asked kind of how often do I run into it? I was working with somebody who was exploring different careers, and one of the majors they were looking at, English Lit. They were wondering what careers kind of came if you had an English Lit degree. And they spoke to another young lady who had an English Lit degree, and what do you do? Works for a publisher. What's your job with the publisher? Literally, this is their job. And their job is to take manuscripts from publishers. So some egghead, some smart person has sat down and written a book.
Yep.
The publishing house has said, this is a good book. We're going to take it. We're going to publish it. Now this person sits down and goes through it, and their entire job is to rephrase all the negative sentences.
Hey.
Because people don't want to read the negativity.
Sure.
And so, we didn't do this and we didn't do this research, and what we didn't find was they don't want to read that. Went to the sand dunes and didn't have any rain. They don't want to read the negativity. So a person is paid $70,000 a year to sit and rewrite authors' works, to take the negative sentences and flip them positive. We went to the sand dunes and it was a beautiful sunny day. Mm-hmm. Instead of we didn't do the research, what we did was, and it's that's how much effort it takes. Is they have to pay somebody to do it, because they can't send it back to the author and say, rewrite a bunch of that negativity into positivity, because the author can't do it.
Right. Yeah.
So essentially, they have a psychologist on staff.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Whose job it is to rephrase thoughts. Because that's what the author was thinking, so that's what the author wrote down. That's what's on paper. And when people read that, they set the book aside. They don't want to read it. The publisher has figured that out.
Yeah.
People don't want to read negativity. They have enough of it in their life.
Yeah. Enough of it right there in their brain. That's crazy.
And we've talked about this. Is if you've been following along in the book at all, this is fundamental number 4, negative thinking versus positive thinking. And we did a video series a while back, Get the Not Out.
Yep.
And the simple exercise is catch, not, don't, can't, didn't, and take the not out of that sentence. So if I can't do, I can do. I didn't experience what I did experience. I don't want, I do want. And it can have a very powerful impact on how your day goes, how your life goes.
Didn't you have some kind of an exercise where if you're wearing a wristband of some sort, when you have a negative thought or something, then you either switch to the other arm.
Right.
I think I told you, tell them to snap it. Right. You're like, that's abusive. People will be bleeding.
But literally, and you do something, and to bring this to your attention. And the one thing I suggested, especially after you made all those wristbands for the crash course back in the day, I had a lot of wristbands left over, and I would give them to people, and I say, anytime you hear don't, can't, didn't, take the wristband off one wrist, put it on the other wrist, and then restate the sentence positively. Yeah. And if you can do this exercise for 21 days, there's a job out there you paying $70,000.
Heck yeah.
If you can do this exercise for 21 days, you will change the automatic thinking. Yeah. And it's crazy when it occurs, because people around you look at you like you're a freak. Yeah. I got a guy who came in and is amazed, not at himself. He's amazed at the reaction other people have to him. Sure. He said a couple of weeks ago, rolled up to work. He owns a company, and as he gets up there, they're all standing around. Trying to keep my language clean, slow down. They're all standing around frustrated and angry because somebody broke in to the storage shed and stole tools. And he walked up and looked at it and, well, somebody take an inventory, call the police, call the insurance, and I'll catch you inside. And everybody's head snapped.
Who is this guy?
What? And his partner and buddy of many years says, I want to go shoot somebody. He's like, how's that going to help? Yeah. And walked off and left them all mouths agape. And his first reaction was, why are they acting so weird? Mm-hmm. Because he's shifted the thinking. Yep. So running and shooting somebody doesn't make any sense to him. Once you change how you think, you change how you experience things, that's going to lead to a change in behaviors you want to do. They should not steal from me. Mm-hmm. You become angry, and tracking the son of a gun down and shooting him makes sense. Yep. But if you're thinking, well, it would have been nice if they'd have respected our stuff, but they stole a drill. Okay. Well, I would like to get back to work. I would like for the company. He doesn't think negatively as often as he used to. Sure. Another event that he described, he's sitting in his office working, and right outside the window behind him is a sidewalk and some sort of rail. And 3 kids on skateboards found that a cool place to do some tricks. And so he's having this meeting, he's trying to talk, and there's this constant skateboard noise behind him. And after a couple of minutes, got up and he went over to the door and said, hey guys, I'm I don't know if you realize it, but I'm trying to have a meeting right inside that window. Tell you what, if you go on around the corner, I got some rails back there. It'd be awesome if you go skate back there. And they're like, sorry, dude. Sorry. And they took off. And when he stepped back in, he got the look. What is wrong with you? Yeah. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, you would have been out there choking them kids.
Yeah.
And he had changed some of the murals in his office, and one of them has a big spiritual message. And he looked at them like they were crazy and said, well, I guess, and he points, I guess I got Jesus in me. Mm. What do you want?
Yeah, that's good.
Not what you don't want.
Yep.
What do you want?
What do you want? It's good, Doc.
Well, all righty. What a show.
Very, very helpful. And I'm going to go get a wristband.
We are just these guys.
Work on it.
Watch for the merch store. Watch for the announcements coming up.
Mm-hmm. It's a great day to have a great day.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Go be positive. Catch you next week.
See you next week.